The Ark of the Covenant stands as one of history's most enigmatic and revered religious artifacts. Rooted in biblical tradition, it is said to have held the stone tablets inscribed with the Ten Commandments given to Moses by God. Beyond its scriptural significance, the Ark has been a focal point of myth, legend, and mystery, inspiring countless theories about its true nature and whereabouts. Some regard it as a divine vessel of immense power, while others see it as a lost relic of an ancient civilization hidden away for centuries. The Ark's significance extends far beyond religious doctrine. In Jewish and Christian traditions, it symbolizes divine presence, covenant, and protection. In the biblical accounts, it is credited with supernatural powers, parting the Jordan River, toppling the walls of Jericho, and striking down those who touched it without authorization. Its sudden disappearance from historical records has fueled endless speculation, leading to numerous theories about its fate. Was it destroyed, hidden by priests, or transported to a secret location? From Ethiopia to Jordan, from the depths of Jerusalem to the heart of the Vatican, the search for the Ark remains one of the great historical mysteries. In modern times, the Ark of the Covenant has not only captivated theologians and archaeologists, but has also become a subject of numerous conspiracy theories. Some claim that it has been hidden away by secretive organizations, while others believe that world governments, including the United States, have conducted covert investigations into its location and potential power. The intersection of history, religion, and political intrigue has made the Ark an irresistible topic for speculation, particularly among those who believe in hidden knowledge and clandestine operations. The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, known for its involvement in geopolitics, espionage, and covert research, has occasionally been linked to historical and archaeological pursuits. The agency's operations during the Cold War, for example, often extended beyond traditional intelligence gathering. Some declassified documents suggest interest in religious artifacts, sacred texts, and locations of historical importance. Whether motivated by political, symbolic, or even military considerations, intelligence agencies have sometimes explored mysteries that could influence global power dynamics. The Ark, with its immense religious and mythical significance, would undoubtedly be of interest to any organization seeking to understand or control such a potent symbol. This book aims to explore the possibility that the CIA may have been involved in the search for the Ark of the Covenant. What evidence exists to support such claims? Why would an intelligence agency concern itself with an ancient religious artifact? Were there geopolitical motivations, or was it merely part of a broader fascination with the supernatural and the unknown? By examining historical accounts, declassified documents, and alleged CIA operations, we will attempt to separate fact from fiction and understand the enduring allure of the Ark of the Covenant in both religious and intelligence circles. The Ark of the Covenant, History and Legend. The Ark of the Covenant is one of the most mysterious and sacred objects in religious history. According to the Hebrew Bible, it was a gold-covered wooden chest constructed under the guidance of Moses at God's command. The Ark contained the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, Aaron's rod, and a pot of manna, symbolizing the covenant between God and the Israelites. More than just a container, it was regarded as the very throne of God, where His divine presence resided. The Ark played a central role in Jewish history, accompanying the Israelites through their wilderness journey and into the Promised Land. It was carried before them in battle, bringing divine favor and ensuring victory. The most famous of these accounts is the Battle of Jericho, where the Ark was paraded around the city for 7 days before its walls miraculously collapsed. Eventually, it was placed in the Holy of Holies within Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem, where only the high priest could approach it once a year during Yom Kippur. Christianity, too, acknowledges the Ark's significance, often drawing parallels between it and the Virgin Mary as a vessel carrying divine presence. Some interpretations suggest that the Ark foreshadowed Christ's coming, representing the ultimate covenant between God and humanity. Despite its prominence in religious texts, the Ark mysteriously disappeared from history. There is no definitive account of what happened to it after the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem in 586 BCE. This absence of historical records has led to numerous theories regarding its fate. Some believe it was destroyed when the Babylonians sacked the First Temple, while others argue that it was hidden by Jewish priests to protect it from invaders. Another theory suggests that it was secretly transported to a far-off location for safekeeping, waiting to be rediscovered. Among the most famous claims regarding the Ark's whereabouts is the Ethiopian tradition that it resides in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum. According to Ethiopian legend, the Ark was brought there by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church staunchly maintains this belief, though no outsider has ever been allowed to verify the claim. Other theories place the Ark in Jordan, hidden within the ancient city of Petra, or in a secret chamber beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Some researchers speculate that the Vatican may possess knowledge of its location, keeping it hidden from public view. Over the centuries, various expeditions have attempted to uncover the truth, yet none have yielded definitive proof. The mystery of the Ark's disappearance continues to captivate historians, theologians, and adventurers alike. Whether lost, hidden, or destroyed, its legacy endures as one of the greatest religious enigmas of all time. The CIA and historical artifacts. The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, is primarily known for its role in intelligence gathering, espionage, and covert operations. However, its interests have not been limited to political, military, and economic intelligence alone. Over the years, there have been documented instances where the CIA became involved in a variety of unconventional pursuits, including the research and collection of historical artifacts, religious, mystical, and otherwise. While this may seem unusual at first glance, these activities align with the CIA's broader mandate to monitor and understand anything that could potentially affect national security, influence global power structures, or serve as a tool in political or ideological warfare. The agency's involvement in historical research, especially regarding religious or mystical artifacts, has often been tied to the strategic interests of the United States during the Cold War. As the world grappled with ideological conflict between communism and capitalism, the CIA sought to gain an edge in a variety of areas, including the exploration of ancient texts, religious relics, and significant historical artifacts. In many cases, the desire to control or understand these objects wasn't necessarily spiritual in nature, but rather geopolitical. CIA's broader intelligence agenda. The CIA's primary mission revolves around gathering intelligence related to foreign governments, organizations, and individuals that might pose a threat to U.S. interests. However, its activities often go beyond traditional political intelligence. The CIA has been involved in a wide array of operations, including psychological warfare, cultural manipulation, and attempts to control global narratives. The discovery of powerful or symbolically significant artifacts, especially those with the potential to influence popular opinion or support the narrative of U.S. supremacy, may have seemed like a valuable tool for the agency. Artifacts like the Ark of the Covenant, with their immense historical and religious significance, could have been seen as symbols of divine authority or ancient knowledge. In the Cold War context, knowledge of such artifacts could hold tremendous value, both as a form of ideological weaponry and as a tool to assert dominance over rival powers. By controlling knowledge of ancient relics or securing access to them, the CIA could gain influence, leverage religious ideologies, and manipulate the perception of power. These relics were not just cultural objects. They were potentially potent symbols that could be used in both overt and covert operations to shape the global order. Documented cases of U.S. intelligence agencies researching religious or mystical artifacts. There are a number of documented cases where U.S. intelligence agencies, particularly the CIA, became involved in researching or retrieving religious or mystical artifacts. One such instance is the CIA's interest in the Dead Sea Scrolls during the mid-20th century. The Dead Sea Scrolls, a collection of Jewish texts dating back to the Second Temple period, have enormous religious significance and shed light on ancient beliefs and practices. During the 1950s, as the scrolls were discovered in caves near Qumran in modern-day Israel, there was heightened interest not only among religious scholars but also within intelligence circles. While the primary goal of the CIA was not directly theological, there were concerns that the scrolls could offer insight into ancient religious movements, which could potentially be used to destabilize or influence certain regions. Another example involves the CIA's documented involvement in the search for Nazi-looted art and cultural artifacts after World War II. This wasn't solely about preserving historical artifacts, but also about ensuring that valuable pieces did not fall into the hands of the Soviet Union or other competing powers. Many of these pieces had immense symbolic value, particularly when it came to the ideological warfare being waged between the United States and the USSR. There have also been rumors about the CIA's involvement in seeking out mystical or supernatural relics, such as the Spear of Destiny, the lance said to have pierced Christ's side during the crucifixion, or the Holy Grail. These relics, much like the Ark of the Covenant, have a deep religious and mystical aura around them. While no conclusive evidence links the CIA to a direct involvement with these artifacts, historical records and rumors suggest that the agency may have taken an interest in them, especially given the potential power these objects could hold in propaganda and influencing public opinion. Cold War-era operations and ancient relics. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a fierce competition for global influence. This ideological and geopolitical struggle led to a wide range of covert operations, many of which involved efforts to control knowledge, information, and sacred objects with historical significance. The CIA, as part of the U.S. intelligence apparatus, was keenly aware of how powerful symbols, religious and historical artifacts included, could shape the minds and allegiances of people around the world. The CIA's interest in such artifacts was not limited to religious or mystical objects. It also extended to ancient relics that could aid in understanding the cultural and political dynamics of other nations. For instance, the agency supported numerous archaeological expeditions, not only to gather information on the local populations but also to locate any potential relics or artifacts that could provide valuable insight into the cultural and religious foundations of rival nations. The idea was that by understanding a society's historical and spiritual roots, the CIA could more effectively influence or destabilize that society. Some declassified documents hint that the CIA may have been involved in missions related to finding the Ark of the Covenant during the Cold War, especially in places like the Middle East and Africa, where religious and historical tensions were high. The Ark, as an ancient object of immense religious and symbolic power, could have been perceived as a valuable asset in the larger struggle for influence. In these regions, U.S. intelligence agencies sought to understand the significance of such relics, sometimes working through local governments or proxy forces to locate them. Moreover, the CIA's Operation Paperclip, which involved the recruitment of German scientists after World War II, also extended to the realm of archaeology and ancient studies. Some of these scientists were involved in researching ancient civilizations and artifacts, leading to speculation about whether such research was connected to the agency's interest in powerful or symbolic objects. While much of the CIA's activity during the Cold War remains classified, these examples demonstrate the agency's involvement in ancient relics and artifacts, motivated by strategic rather than purely scholarly concerns. While much of the CIA's involvement in the realm of historical artifacts and religious objects remains shrouded in secrecy, the evidence points to a consistent pattern of interest, particularly during the Cold War. The search for powerful symbols, whether they be religious artifacts like the Ark of the Covenant or other ancient relics, was not merely about cultural preservation. These objects held the potential to influence global narratives, sway public opinion, and even tip the scales of power between rival superpowers. Whether through direct covert operations or through the recruitment of experts, the CIA's interest in ancient relics underscores the broader scope of intelligence gathering during a time of global ideological conflict. Alleged CIA interest in the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant has long been shrouded in mystery, and the possibility that the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, has shown interest in it only adds another layer to the intrigue. While no definitive evidence has surfaced to conclusively prove CIA involvement in a direct search for the Ark, various theories and historical contexts suggest that the agency may have had an interest in this iconic relic, particularly during the Cold War period. This section will explore some of the theories surrounding CIA involvement, examine any declassified documents related to religious artifacts, discuss the connection between the Ark and Cold War-era intelligence operations, and consider the motivations behind any potential CIA interest in the Ark. Theories suggesting CIA involvement in searching for the Ark. Many theories have emerged over the years suggesting that the CIA, either directly or through covert operations, sought to uncover the Ark of the Covenant. These theories often link the Ark with the geopolitics of the Cold War, where control over religious and cultural symbols could have been seen as a way to gain influence over rival superpowers, especially the Soviet Union. One such theory posits that the CIA may have become involved in searching for the Ark after hearing of claims from various religious groups and individuals that it had been relocated or hidden in a remote location, such as Ethiopia, Jordan, or even under the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The Ark's religious significance, coupled with its symbolic power as a divine artifact, would have made it a prime target for any organization seeking to control or exploit its potential. The connection between the Ark and the US government's interest in global religious and historical artifacts was likely tied to a broader strategy of influencing or destabilizing foreign nations. The CIA's covert operations frequently extended into cultural and religious affairs, and the Ark, with its biblical association, could have been seen as a valuable asset. Moreover, some proponents of this theory argue that the CIA's involvement in archaeology and history during the Cold War was more than just a matter of interest. It was part of a concerted effort to locate powerful objects that could provide leverage in international relations. Ethiopia, in particular, emerges as a focal point for these theories. The country has long claimed to house the Ark in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum, with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church steadfastly maintaining that they possess the Arkansas. Some theorists suggest that the CIA may have taken an interest in this claim, particularly given Ethiopia's strategic location in Africa and its political importance during the Cold War. The US government's involvement in Ethiopia at the time, including CIA operations in the region, adds weight to the argument that the agency might have sought to investigate the legitimacy of Ethiopia's claim or, alternatively, to ensure that the Ark did not fall into the hands of adversaries. Declassified documents related to religious artifacts. Declassified documents from the CIA, as well as from other intelligence agencies, provide some insight into the agency's interests and activities related to religious artifacts, though none specifically reference the Ark of the Covenant. For example, during the Cold War, the CIA was involved in various operations related to the acquisition of Nazi-looted art and other cultural artifacts. These artifacts, while not directly connected to religious symbolism, carried immense ideological and cultural significance. The agency's efforts to track, acquire, and sometimes conceal these objects demonstrated its understanding of the power that such artifacts could wield in shaping global narratives. Additionally, the CIA's involvement in the study and analysis of ancient religious texts, such as the Dead Sea Scrolls, also suggests a broader interest in religious and mystical objects. While the agency's role in such investigations may have been more focused on understanding the implications of these objects on geopolitical and ideological struggles, it is not unreasonable to assume that similar efforts may have been made with regard to the Ark. Although no documents have been declassified that directly mention the Ark of the Covenant, the CIA's overall interest in religious artifacts and its historical operations provide a plausible basis for the idea that the Ark could have been a subject of covert interest. The absence of direct references in declassified documents is likely a result of the classified nature of such operations, which were often conducted in secrecy to avoid exposing sensitive intelligence efforts. Connection between the Ark and Cold War-era intelligence gathering. The Cold War was marked by an intense ideological and geopolitical rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. This period saw both nations investing heavily in intelligence gathering, not only through traditional means such as espionage but also through the collection and manipulation of cultural and religious symbols. The CIA, tasked with promoting American interests and countering the spread of communism, often sought to exploit cultural and religious leverage as part of its larger strategy to gain influence worldwide. In this context, the Ark of the Covenant would have been seen as a powerful symbol. Its religious significance in Judaism and Christianity could have been used as a way to sway public opinion, both domestically and abroad, particularly in areas where religion played a central role in the daily lives of the people. The CIA may have seen the Ark as an asset in the broader ideological battle between the West and the Soviet Union. For instance, during the Cold War, the United States worked to foster alliances with countries where religion held great sway, such as Ethiopia. The idea of controlling or understanding a religious artifact as significant as the Ark would have added another layer of influence to U.S. operations in these regions. The CIA, aware of the importance of religion in Cold War geopolitics, may have sought to uncover the Ark's location in order to either protect it from falling into enemy hands or to use its discovery as a powerful propaganda tool. Furthermore, the Ark's potential to be linked with supernatural or mystical power would have been of particular interest in the context of the Cold War's ideological battle. The idea that an ancient relic could hold the key to divine power or global domination may have added an additional layer of allure for those seeking any advantage in the war for global supremacy. Possible motivations: political, religious, or symbolic power. There are several possible motivations for why the CIA might have pursued the Ark of the Covenant or shown interest in its location. These motivations could have been political, religious, or symbolic in nature. Political motivation. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in an ideological battle. The possession of powerful religious or historical artifacts could have been seen as a way to bolster national prestige and enhance the moral authority of one superpower over the other. If the CIA believed that the Ark was an important religious or symbolic artifact, it might have sought to uncover it as a tool of influence. The discovery or control of the Ark would have given the United States significant leverage in dealing with both allies and adversaries. Religious motivation. While the CIA is not primarily a religious organization, its leadership and the U.S. government, in general, have long recognized the importance of religion in shaping public opinion and fostering national unity. The Ark of the Covenant, as a symbol of divine power, could have been perceived as a way to affirm America's moral and religious superiority, especially during a period when the U.S. sought to differentiate itself from the atheistic Soviet Union. Even if the CIA's role in religious matters was indirect, the pursuit of such a potent religious artifact could have served to affirm America's place in the divine order, symbolic power. Lastly, the Ark may have been valued for its symbolic power. Whether or not the CIA truly believed in its divine abilities, the Ark's historical and religious significance made it an object of enormous symbolic importance. In the context of the Cold War, having control or knowledge of such an artifact could have been used to inspire a sense of power and legitimacy, both within the United States and in its dealings with the rest of the world. While there is no concrete proof that the CIA was directly involved in the search for the Ark of the Covenant, the historical context, geopolitical interests, and symbolic power of the Ark suggest that it could have been a target of covert operations. The theories of CIA involvement are rooted in the agency's broader interest in religious, mystical, and culturally significant artifacts, particularly during the Cold War. Whether motivated by political, religious, or symbolic considerations, the Ark represents a potent symbol that could have been of great interest to those seeking to exert influence and control on a global scale. Archaeology, espionage, and misinformation. Archaeology is often seen as the domain of scholars and historians, concerned with uncovering the past and preserving history. However, throughout the 20th century, particularly during the Cold War, intelligence agencies recognized the strategic value of archaeological work as a tool for espionage and geopolitical maneuvering. The desire to control or manipulate knowledge of ancient civilizations, sacred objects, and historical narratives became a crucial part of intelligence operations, and the CIA was not immune to these tactics. How intelligence agencies have historically used archaeology for espionage. Archaeology and espionage may seem like unrelated fields, but in the world of intelligence, controlling the narrative surrounding history and ancient civilizations was often seen as a key to manipulating public perception and influencing geopolitical relations. Archaeological sites, especially those connected to religious or cultural heritage, could provide valuable information that might not only aid in understanding a nation's history but also its current political and cultural identity. During the Cold War, the ideological battle between the Soviet Union and the United States extended beyond military confrontation and diplomacy. Both superpowers engaged in a covert war for influence over the rest of the world, particularly in regions where religion, culture, and national identity played a significant role. As a result, archaeological excavations became a tool for intelligence agencies seeking to gain political or cultural leverage. The CIA, in particular, understood that knowledge of ancient artifacts and historical sites could be used to shape or influence the narratives of power. Control over such sites and artifacts could solidify a nation's claim to certain territories, bolster national identity, or even challenge rival ideologies. Intelligence agencies were thus keenly interested in archaeological digs, especially when they involved religious sites or sacred objects, such as the Ark of the Covenant. Archaeological findings could also be used as a form of propaganda. For example, excavating ancient relics or uncovering historical evidence that supported a particular political or religious ideology could be used to sway public opinion. In many cases, archaeologists working in politically sensitive regions found themselves caught in a web of espionage, where their work was influenced or even directly directed by intelligence agencies seeking to advance specific national agendas. Case studies of intelligence involvement in archaeological digs. Several historical examples demonstrate the intersection of archaeology and espionage. One notable case is the U.S. involvement in the excavation of Mesopotamian and Egyptian sites during the early and mid-20th century. During the Cold War, the CIA and other U.S. intelligence agencies were concerned with the growing influence of the Soviet Union in the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia. As part of the strategy to maintain influence, the United States supported archaeological projects that were intended to establish ties with local governments and control the cultural narrative in these regions. For example, U.S. archaeological missions in Egypt and Iraq in the 1950s and 1960s were often backed by the CIA, with the goal of gathering not only historical knowledge but also political leverage. The U.S. government recognized that such operations could be used to foster relationships with local governments, many of whom were sympathetic to the United States' position in the Cold War. Additionally, these missions were seen as a way to ensure that valuable historical artifacts, such as the ancient treasures of Egypt, remained out of Soviet hands. Similarly, the CIA's involvement in Central and South America, where ancient ruins and indigenous artifacts held immense cultural and political significance, was often closely tied to the collection of intelligence. These efforts were part of a broader strategy to combat the spread of communism in the region, but they also involved archaeology as a tool for shaping local ideologies and fortifying U.S. influence. The excavation of ancient Christian relics in the Middle East also had a political dimension during this period. The discovery of religious texts, manuscripts, or artifacts tied to the early Christian church could potentially shift the balance of power in the region by influencing religious narratives and affirming the legitimacy of certain political entities. While not always openly acknowledged, intelligence agencies frequently sought to control access to such artifacts or to gather intelligence on the political and religious groups in the area through archaeological means. The role of misinformation in fueling myths about the Ark and the CIA. The role of misinformation in shaping public understanding of the Ark of the Covenant is critical in understanding why conspiracy theories about the CIA's involvement in its search have flourished. Much like in other instances of intelligence activity, misinformation, whether intentional or not, often plays a significant role in shaping narratives that suit specific political or ideological goals. The idea that the CIA was actively searching for the Ark could be seen as part of a broader strategy to control the flow of historical knowledge and cultural narratives. Over the years, countless rumors and myths have surrounded the Ark, often tied to its alleged supernatural powers and its ability to bring great fortune or disaster to those who possess it. These stories have been further fueled by the portrayal of the Ark in popular culture, particularly through films and books. The combination of intrigue surrounding the Ark and the CIA's secretive operations in the Middle East and Africa created fertile ground for the proliferation of conspiracy theories. Some of these myths have been explicitly propagated by those seeking to gain from the Ark's fame. For example, religious leaders and governments in places like Ethiopia and Jerusalem have claimed to possess the Ark in order to gain influence, attract tourists, or bolster national pride. At the same time, these claims have been used by various parties to foster the idea that powerful organizations, like the CIA, are working behind the scenes to either protect or seize the Ark. While much of the evidence for CIA involvement remains speculative, the role of misinformation in fueling these myths cannot be overstated. Conspiracy theories, particularly ones related to secretive agencies like the CIA, often thrive in environments where real and fabricated elements are difficult to distinguish. In the case of the Ark, these myths were fueled by both the historical mystery surrounding the artifact and the secretive nature of intelligence agencies, leading to a fascinating blend of fact, fiction, and speculation. Popular culture and the Ark-CIA myth. The Ark of the Covenant has been immortalized in popular culture as a mysterious and powerful artifact, particularly due to its prominent role in films, books, and television. One of the most influential portrayals of the Ark, and by extension, the CIA's potential interest in it, is Steven Spielberg's 1981 film Raiders of the Lost Arkansas. The film, which centers on Indiana Jones' quest to recover the Ark before the Nazis can get their hands on it, effectively cemented the image of the Ark as a symbol of both immense power and intrigue. This portrayal, while fictional, significantly influenced how the public perceives the Ark and its supposed powers, intertwining it with espionage, secret organizations, and global conflict. Influence of movies and books, e.g., Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark was not the first film to associate the Ark with covert operations, but it was undoubtedly the most famous. The film popularized the idea that the Ark was an object of immense historical and supernatural power, one that could be exploited by governments or military forces for global domination. The portrayal of the Nazis attempting to seize the Ark in the film only reinforced the notion that such an object was of paramount importance. The success of Raiders of the Lost Ark and its sequels helped to solidify the idea that the Ark was not only a religious relic but also an object of intense global interest, potentially capable of shifting the balance of power. While the film took significant liberties with historical accuracy, its influence on the popular imagination was undeniable. The idea that intelligence agencies, like the CIA, might be involved in a similar search for the Ark gained traction in the years following its release. In addition to the Indiana Jones franchise, other books and films have continued to weave the Ark into narratives involving espionage, treasure hunts, and secret organizations. These portrayals have shaped the collective perception of the Ark as not just an ancient artifact, but as a symbol of mystical power, one that could be wielded for both good and evil. How popular culture has shaped public perception of the Ark and intelligence agencies. Popular culture has played a crucial role in shaping public perceptions of both the Ark and intelligence agencies like the CIA. Through films, books, and documentaries, the public's understanding of the Ark has become deeply intertwined with the idea of espionage and secret missions. The portrayal of secretive organizations, often, though not exclusively, the CIA, as being involved in the search for or the safeguarding of powerful artifacts has fed into the allure of conspiracy theories. These fictional accounts often depict the CIA as an organization operating in the shadows, manipulating world events and seeking control of sacred objects for its own purposes. While these portrayals are not necessarily based on any factual evidence, they have contributed to the mythos surrounding both the CIA and the Arkansas. The line between myth and reality becomes increasingly blurred as stories of real-world intelligence operations, shrouded in secrecy, are woven together with cinematic fiction. The fine line between myth and reality. As with many conspiracy theories, the narrative of the CIA's alleged involvement with the Ark occupies a space between myth and reality. While there is no definitive evidence linking the CIA directly to the search for the Ark, the combination of real historical context, the agency's past involvement in cultural and archaeological operations, and the allure of the Ark itself has created a rich narrative for speculation. The fine line between myth and reality is what makes the Ark-CIA myth so captivating. The Ark of the Covenant, a real biblical artifact surrounded by centuries of myth, and the CIA, an organization known for its secretive operations, provide the perfect backdrop for stories that blur the lines between historical facts and fantastical fiction. Whether or not the CIA actually sought the Ark may never be known, but the enduring mystery of both the Ark and the agency's secretive nature ensures that this myth will continue to capture the imagination for generations to come. The quest for the Ark of the Covenant has fascinated humanity for millennia. From its biblical origins as a divine object, central to the ancient Hebrew people's religious practices, to the many theories and legends about its disappearance, the Ark has remained an enduring mystery. As we've explored, the combination of religious significance, historical intrigue, and the very real geopolitical factors of the 20th century have led to a series of speculative and, at times, sensational claims about its whereabouts, including the involvement of secretive organizations like the CIA. Summary of key findings. Throughout the chapters of this work, we've traced the historical, religious, and cultural significance of the Ark of the Covenant. From the Ark's detailed descriptions in the Hebrew Bible to its theological implications in Judaism and Christianity, it has been a symbol of divine power, a physical connection to God. Its disappearance and the various theories surrounding its location, from Ethiopia to Jerusalem, illustrate just how central the Ark has been to numerous religious and cultural narratives. The investigation into the CIA's potential interest in the Ark has been more speculative, but it provides an interesting lens through which to explore the intersection of intelligence, archaeology, and religious artifacts. While concrete evidence linking the CIA to the Ark remains elusive, there are numerous documented cases of U.S. intelligence agencies working in regions rich with religious and cultural artifacts, often for political or geopolitical purposes. This suggests that the CIA, as part of its broader Cold War efforts, may have had an interest in archaeological sites and sacred objects, not necessarily to find the Ark, but to gain influence in the regions where such artifacts were located. One of the more intriguing aspects of this investigation is how the myth of the Ark and its supposed powers has been fed by popular culture, especially through films like Raiders of the Lost Ark and various conspiracy theories. The portrayal of intelligence agencies seeking control over the Ark has solidified the image of the CIA as a shadowy organization involved in global schemes. This has further fueled speculation, turning the search for the Ark into an enduring mystery that continues to capture the imagination of the public. The balance between conspiracy theories and historical facts. As with many conspiracy theories, the Ark CIA myth operates in a realm between historical fact and speculative fiction. There is no definitive evidence that the CIA directly pursued the Ark, but the idea that the agency might have been involved is not entirely out of character when viewed within the context of Cold War espionage and the US government's broader interest in controlling cultural narratives. The role of misinformation, myths, and misperceptions plays a significant part in this equation. In a world where intelligence agencies often operate in secrecy, the lack of transparency has opened the door for speculation and the creation of elaborate theories. The public's fascination with secret organizations, coupled with the enduring allure of the Ark as a powerful religious and cultural artifact, means that the myth of the Ark's connection to the CIA will likely persist for some time. However, it is essential to recognize the distinction between the popular myths surrounding the Ark and the historical facts that have been verified through rigorous scholarship. The Ark, as a real historical and religious artifact, has a defined place in the cultural and religious heritage of the ancient world, even if its true fate remains a mystery. The CIA's role in archaeological or religious affairs, while fascinating, must be understood within the broader framework of intelligence operations and national interests during the Cold War, not as a pursuit of a singular object. Final thoughts on whether the CIA truly pursued the Ark of the Covenant. In conclusion, the question of whether the CIA ever actively pursued the Ark of the Covenant cannot be definitively answered. While there is no conclusive evidence to support the theory that the CIA has directly sought the Ark, there are valid reasons to believe that intelligence agencies have had an interest in sacred and historically significant objects throughout history. The Cold War, with its ideological battle for global supremacy, provided ample motivation for intelligence agencies to seek leverage over cultural and religious sites, and the Ark, with its profound religious symbolism and supposed power, would have been of particular interest to anyone seeking to control the narrative surrounding religious history. However, most of the evidence for the CIA's involvement with the Ark is circumstantial at best. Claims of CIA interest in Ethiopia or other locations that have been tied to the Ark remain unsubstantiated, and much of the narrative has been built on speculation rather than hard evidence. Whether the CIA has ever been involved in the search for the Ark, or whether the Ark itself even still exists in any tangible form, remains a matter of mystery and myth. Implications for future research. The investigation into the CIA and the Ark of the Covenant opens up broader questions about the intersection of intelligence, archaeology, and religious artifacts. Future research could benefit from a deeper exploration of the role that intelligence agencies play in controlling access to and knowledge of sacred sites. While intelligence agencies may not have actively sought the Ark itself, they have certainly been involved in many archaeological operations, particularly in regions of religious or geopolitical significance. Moreover, more comprehensive studies on the historical and religious importance of artifacts like the Ark and their place in modern political and cultural discourse would further illuminate how such objects continue to influence global politics and public perception. As technology continues to advance, perhaps the Ark's final resting place will one day be uncovered, or perhaps the mysteries surrounding it will only grow with time. Regardless, the Ark will undoubtedly continue to be a point of fascination for scholars, religious figures, conspiracy theorists, and the general public for years to come. As with many aspects of history, the line between fact and fiction remains blurred, and the Ark of the Covenant, along with the mythos surrounding its search, will likely persist in popular imagination for generations. In the end, whether the CIA ever pursued the Ark or not, its legacy as a symbol of divine power and human curiosity remains undeniably powerful, continuing to inspire both wonder and speculation.